Oh my.
Yep.
Okay.
How do you do? We're about to unfold the story of
Ghost of Frankenstein.
My son, would you destroy that which I, your father, dedicated his life to creating? What if it had another brain?
Whose brain?
Your brain.
Power! What good is a brain without eyes to see?
I warned you that you might regret this action.
Well, we've warned you.
You've been warned. Welcome back to Frankenstein Minute. Am I interrupting something?
Sorry.
Okay. Welcome back to Frankenstein Minute, the podcast that dissects the Universal Frankenstein film series minute by minute. I am Tom Lang.
And I'm Bill Evenson, and you join us on Jack Otterson's birthday.
Hey, happy birthday, Jack. He also did the sets for this film.
Okay,
he's
good.
most notable for the Caligari-esque, or they call them psychological sets for Sun.
And in this movie, nothing like that.
No, in fact, parts of the
He put the little knob on the machine, on the pop machine.
pop machine, yeah,
That kind of thing.
glued that on there.
Just to fuck with that while he wanted to turn it.
That's why he holds it for so
That's why he
long.
holds it for so long. He's like,
Damn it!
assholes. Otterson!
It's, in fact, some of these sets are left over from the Wolfman. We'll get to a
Okay.
big one, but a lot of stuff was reused. You know, they would just put it in the scene dock and pull it out as needed.
Right, yep. Would Jack Otterson have put up those scissors on the side
That
of the
was
thing?
that's what I wrote down as we were watching
Oh,
it.
okay, because that's what I was going to say last week, but you see it again
Yeah,
here.
you see it here.
So do we assume this is a barber or a
Barber
mohel?
or a what?
Mohel? I don't know how you say it. Someone
Mohel?
who performs a bris.
A moil?
Moil, that's what it is. That's a moil.
That's a moil. Isn't
There
that a
you
Dean
go.
Martin
Cut
song?
this all out.
That's
Is
a
it a
Dean-
bar? Let me start over. Okay, go ahead.
That's a Dean Martin song, isn't it? That's a moil.
That's a moil. Nice.
Even before I saw the film, there was stills of him holding her, like this shot.
Oh, with the
scissors in the
behind?
back. Yeah, and
Oh,
like
that's funny.
I thought for sure prior to seeing it that those played a part somehow.
Yeah.
Because it's such a prominent thing.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's either a barber, a tailor,
Yeah.
moil, I don't know.
Moil. Who knows?
Monster carries Chloe to retrieve her ball as a crowd starts to form behind them.
So this is what I have here because it's hard to decide sometimes where to say things. So I think this is going to work. In the script, the monster picks up Cloestine just as Igor's walking up.
Right.
Igor, in the script, they use the term he's misinterpreted what's happening.
Yeah.
He tries to take the little girl away from him. The monster backhands him and knocks him
Knocks
out
him
cold.
out completely, yeah.
He goes flying. It says something like 12, 15 feet
12
away.
feet, yeah.
The villagers pick up the pitchforks and whatnot, making this the second pitchfork-wielding mob in this film. And this is a minute 14.
Yeah, there's more to come.
And there's more to come, but in the film, it's not quite so bad. They haven't got the pitchforks.
Igor just disappears for several minutes.
He's still looking for him.
So
It's only a couple minutes.
So he ascends the stairs. Oh, also in the background, we see that building I referred to as the one that Belmore was on. There is not a second set of steps,
really?
but I do believe it is still the same building.
Yeah, they could have changed that. Okay.
He ascends the stairs as...
Actually, what do you suppose that's like? Because you've been in these kind of sets.
Mm-hmm.
Did they just set those stairs up and then there's a door and then on the inside of it, there's basically the same thing on the other side going down so they can...
It's like a
It's
platform.
not like there's a room in there.
No, there's like a platform and like a wall.
Probably
like
a wall. I
an
suppose they have
L-shaped
some
wall.
kind of wall, yeah.
Yeah.
So they
some
can
of them,
get from
though,
one
I mean,
side
some
to
of them do have interiors.
Yeah,
so that they can shoot in and out.
right. Makes
But
sense.
most of them are just a facade.
Yeah.
A Good Samaritan runs up the stairs to rescue Chloe and gets pelted pretty hard in his chest for all his troubles.
Is that the next thing that... well,
Did I miss something?
I don't know. I've got it... My notes are in a different order that we've got Husman first.
No.
So Husman comes after that?
Yeah.
So this is the stunt. He's going up the stairs and this guy runs up the stairs too, and then Chaney smacks him.
Whacks him in the chest.
So
Yep.
I wrote worst stunt in cinema history, which is a bit of a stretch, but I think it's the timing that's off. So
It's
the
a
guy
little-
runs up,
yeah, it's a little
and
odd.
the camera moves with him. The camera pans with him, or tracks with him, whatever. And so then we get this moment where he's there. He puts his hand on Chaney's shoulder, and then Chaney takes forever to sort of smack him and knock him down.
Yeah.
The only thing I can sort of say in Chaney's defense here is it's the wrong angle to show somebody getting hit. If I'm going to punch you in the face on screen, you want the camera behind me, so it looks like I'm punching punching you.
Yeah.
If the camera's behind you, you can tell. I guess
No,
in
it's
that
the other
case
way.
it'd be
It's
all right.
the other
Either
way
way.
around. It's the other
But
way
yeah,
around.
in this case, you can. He's got to do it all with his arm.
Yeah.
He's got to make it look like he's hitting the guy, but he can't hit the guy.
He can't hit the guy.
'Cause
That
he can't
high.
hit a guy.
Yeah.
And so it's a failure all around.
And then, well, it gets even worse because as he tumbles down the stairs, he bumps into the flimsiest railing in the world.
And one of the spindles just goes like it's gonna fly off.
Yeah.
Like it's not
Yeah,
attached.
it is like the flimsiest railing in the history of the world.
Yeah, and well, they
I'm
put it
sure
up
it was
that morning.
Probably breakaway in case he did.
In case he went flying through it. I think that'd be cool.
That would have been a lot
That'd
better.
have been awesome.
Oh man!
The other thing is he's got the little girl in his.
Well, that's what I was going to bring up, is that he probably doesn't give his all to hit him because he's afraid of hurting her.
Right. Yeah.
You know.
Either way, these are just excuses for something that looks like shit.
Looks pretty.
Yeah.
Then a dapper gent and some other guys step out and see what's up as the crowd gathers.
Actually, I forgot to write this down, but the whole crowd just kind of comes out of nowhere because you had mentioned Goose Girl maybe went and reported it to the authorities. That would explain because
all of a sudden
what we get in the movie is those boys run around the corner and within seconds the whole town has come back.
They could have also gone and told somebody.
No, they had just enough time to do that, but it's a lot of people very fast.
Come very quickly.
So it helped a little bit.
Not a lot happens on a Tuesday afternoon in Visaria, I guess. So.
Yeah.
Hey, look, something's going on.
Is it Visaria or Visaria?
Everybody says it different. It's in the next film. It's Visaria.
Right.
So whatever.
I looked over and saw someone, and it was you. I saw your reflection.
Bilocating.
It was like, yeah, never mind. Let's move on. How old is Husman? Oh, wait, we haven't got there yet.
Well, do you want to, atop an archway between two buildings, we see good old Eddie Parker obviously doubling for Chaney.
Oh.
Because clearly not Chaney.
Oh, I didn't even notice.
Oh, it's fairly obvious.
Okay.
He's also carrying Charlie McCarthy in drag, doubling for Janet and Gallo.
Oh, boy, I never noticed.
That's a dummy?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I didn't notice that it was Eddie Parker either.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, I got to go back and watch minute 14.
I think we'll see it again.
I guess I've got it loaded in my Patreon right here.
Well, hey.
We'll see if anyone mentioned it.
Okay.
How about this? If anyone mentioned it, they get to now co-host the podcast with you because clearly they're paying closer attention than I am.
Works for me. Turns out the dapper gent is Chloe's father. According to the script, he's Adolf Husman.
Yeah, I noticed that.
The schoolmaster. Odd in a film in 1942 to use the name Adolf for a character.
I can't remember. Did Pearl Harbor happen like day one of shooting, or was it?
It was very close. Yeah. It was like a week before. It was like super.
So Adolf wasn't just a famous figure in the U.S. He was now
a notorious figure.
Yes.
I think.
Yeah. I mean, I guess
because he starts to show up in Looney Tunes around the same time.
Germany declared war on the U.S. like a week after Pearl Harbor. Yeah. It's bizarre. It doesn't go the way you think it would go.
No.
You would think Pearl Harbor, all right, let's do this, and we declare war on everybody.
Yeah.
No, Germany declared war on us.
Yeah.
FDR's in the White House going, oh, whatever.
Okay, sure. Yeah.
That works. Now I guess I can get all the funding I want. Thanks, Adolf. Because that's really what it did, right?
Basically,
he was trying to sneak his way around to get funding to the Allies.
Yeah. And
Hitler declares war, and it's like, can I have some money? Yes, you can. You can have as much as you want.
Yep.
In fact, we're going to shut down production of our
everything.
Yeah.
Adolf.
Maybe that's why he's portrayed maybe not quite so fondly in this. I don't know.
Husman? Husman is played by Adolf Hytten, or Hitten, Hytten.
Okay.
Not Adolf, Olaf.
Yeah. So, no kidding? Olaf?
Yeah.
Funny.
Yep. He was born March 3rd,
I'm sorry. It's funny to me because I did my family tree and got back to Olaf. Even, because my last name's Evenson. Mm-hmm. Even Olafsson. So Olaf was his dad, yeah.
I'm sure there's an Olaf somewhere in my mother's side, yeah.
Yeah.
March 3rd, 1888 in Glasgow, Scotland.
Wow.
Yeah, I wouldn't have thought. Especially named Olaf.
Yeah, right.
It was in Oslo or something. Died March 11th, 1955 in Los Angeles. He died of a heart attack sitting in his car in the 20th Century Fox parking lot.
Jesus Christ.
Yep.
Is that a good or a bad thing?
Well, I think it's bad that he died. I don't know.
No, everyone dies. That's not bad.
At age 55?
That's bad.
No, he was 67. Sorry.
Well, that's still great.
Still young. But I guess, if you got to go in the parking lot of 20th Century Fox.
Davy Jones went and rode his horses and then came back and got in his car to go someplace and had a heart attack, and they found him in his car on February 29th. So if you're going to have a loved one or someone that you're bereaved about someone's death,
well, then you only have to.
Best day to do it is on the 29th.
Every 4 years. Yeah.
So if you could, please, people, die on the 29th.
Joe Strummer took his dogs for a walk, came back, sat down on the couch, and was dead.
Wow.
Anyway, 304 credits for Olaf.
Oh, not Joe Strummer.
No.
He didn't do that much.
He did a lot of films, more than you would think, but...
Okay.
304 credits from 1921 to 1955. Get comfy, because there's a lot.
Okay.
A lot of good stuff, and you would be surprised.
Okay.
You won't be surprised. Return of Dr. Fu Manchu. Whatever.
Okay. He plays Adolf in that.
The Impatient Maiden for James Whale.
Oh, nice.
Study in Scarlet. Not Basil Rathbone.
Not Basil Rathbone, but clearly Sherlock Holmes.
Sherlock Holmes.
Was it in the silent era?
No, it was in the 30s. It was, I saw it actually. Which one? I don't remember. Anyway.
And he plays Adolf in that,
Yeah,
too?
He does.
Okay.
In everything. Every movie he's in.
He insisted.
Secret of the Chateau
when the war kicked in, he was like, tell you what, I am totally riding this.
Yep.
Hitler's going to be so impressed when he finally invades America.
Secret of the Chateau is considered a universal horror, but very, very obscure.
Mm-hmm.
Les Miserables. I don't know if he played Les or not. I didn't look it up.
My goodness.
Bad. Okay. Bonnie Scotland with Laurel and Hardy. The Great Garrick for James Whale.
Jeez.
Yeah. The Adventures of Robin Hood.
Wow.
He's got an impressive CV here. A Christmas Carol. Mr. Smith Goes to Washington.
Which Christmas Carol?
The one from the 30s.
Who's in that one?
I think it's...
Is it Barrymore?
No. It's not Reginald Owen, because that's later.
Okay. Well, anyways.
Drums of Fu Manchu. Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde.
Wow.
Yep.
Which one? The 40s one?
42 with Spencer Tracy. The Wolfman.
Oh.
Or 41, I guess it would be. The Wolfman. To Be or Not to Be, one of my favorite.
How many people have we already listed that were in the Wolfman that are in this movie? And we got a big one coming up. We probably have mentioned it, actually.
To Be or Not to Be, one of my favorite movies. Sherlock Holmes and the Voice of Terror, which I just saw. I guess I didn't notice him.
Yep. Have you noticed him in any of these others? To Be or Not to Be?
I didn't really, never really thought
Never really looking for him?
Yeah, which is weird because there's so many movies.
Yeah.
Casablanca.
Wow.
He's in Casablanca. Sherlock Holmes Faces Death. Flesh and Fantasy, which is a universal horror.
It's
in the book anyway.
Yeah.
Yes. Return of the Vampire with Bela Lugosi.
Jeez.
Bela Lugosi. The Scarlet Claw, one of my favorite Sherlock Holmes movies.
Okay.
Ministry of Fear for Fritz Lang.
Did you say the Scarlet Claw?
Yeah.
Okay. Because he was in A Study in Scarlet as well.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Different. Yep.
Totally different deal.
House of Frankenstein, where he plays Hoffman rather than Hussman.
Who's Hoffman?
I don't know.
Okay, we'll figure it out when we get there.
Yeah, The Woman in Green.
I'm just obsessed now. Hoffman. House of Frankenstein, okay.
The Woman in Green, Dressed to Kill.
He's in more fucking Basil Rathbone movies than Basil Rathbone.
He is. Apparently Roy Neal must have
Because you said Robin Hood, too. I assume that's that one.
Roy V. Neal must have really liked him.
Okay, sure.
Or whatever the guy's
Roland V. Lee?
Whatever the guy's
Or
name
Roy
is.
William Neal.
That's the guy.
Roy W. Neal or whatever.
She-Wolf of London, one of the very last Universal horrors. Ghost Goes West, son of Dr. Jekyll.
Okay.
With Basil Rathbone and Donnie Dunnigan.
No kidding, really?
Yeah, no.
Jeez, oh.
Yet another version of Les Miserables.
All right.
And then a couple episodes of The Adventures of Superman.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah. He's interred in an unmarked crypt in the Woodlawn Cemetery. I don't know why.
Honestly, when you started talking, I thought you were describing the plot of the episodes of Adventures of Superman that he was in. Interred in a plot in Woodlawn Cemetery.
We'll get
Adolf.
We need to get
Hillman
William
rises from the dead.
Get William Dozier, who produced Batman, but he also did the narration for it.
Oh, okay.
The TV show.
The same Bat Channel guy.
Yeah, get him to do it.
Yep.
Although he's passed away.
Yeah,
I think he plays Hussman as a little bit too meek.
Yeah, he's super meek.
Considering the circumstances.
Yeah.
I mean, it says that he's meek in the script and all that.
Yeah.
And describes him as such. But I think a fucking monster has his daughter 2 stories up on a bridge, I think I'd be a little more upset than that.
Yeah, it's an odd. We're sort of in the rising action. I don't know what part of the 3-act structure we're in, but everything that they're doing to sort of establish the monster terrorizing the village.
Right.
Not everything, but a lot of it does kind of fall flat. Yeah. And Husman being a little
lackadaisical.
That's a good word. I was gonna say almost disconnected. Like, isn't that your daughter?
Well, somebody actually says that. Yeah. Dude.
Hey, Husman, and he calls him Hootsman too. I guess, but. Isn't that your daughter up there? Yeah.
And then he just he's like, yeah, I guess.
And he doesn't subscribe to the good guy with a gun theory.
Oh yeah, no. Well, first we have a few shots intercut of Eddie Parker and Charlie McCarthy, and which cuts then into a closer shot of Cheney and Janet.
Boy, I really, really wanted to be able to respond to you with one of the other dummies that Edgar Bergen had.
Mortimer Snurd.
Yeah, there you go. I should have fucking come up with that.
Jerry Mahoney or Willie Tyler and Lester. What was
the guy from Soap?
Soap, yeah.
I don't know.
Chuck and what was the
Chuck? Is it Jay?
Jay wasn't the guy Jay and Chuck was the dummy, or the other way around, or God. Yeah, the NRA member waves his gun around.
There you go.
And goes to shoot up at the monster. Husman sees a little flaw in this plan of action.
Yeah. Well, and he takes forever to get over there.
Yeah.
No.
And then he moves.
Yeah.
And,
But in his defense, this is olden times when it takes forever to, load, aim,
I guess,
and fire your musket.
Your musket. Got to tamp down the gunpowder.
There you go.
Do you want to kill my child? And it cuts away before the guy with the gun kind of goes,
acceptable losses. What are you going to do?
And then we get a shot of Cheney impersonating a bulldog, and then another brave soul hops onto the roof, and the minute ends.
There you go. All right. You asked for it.
Well, somebody
asked for it.
Backed by popular demand. Got any more questions, wise ass?
Listeners may have noticed by now that we are trying something with our Patreons. We're giving out the minutes beforehand, and can I just start over again?
What Bill is trying to say is the minute...
We have now reached the segment that we call Got Any More Pre-Questions, Wise Ass?
I'm not changing the graphic or the sound bite.
Wherein we distributed minutes to our Patreons. This week's edition of Got Any Pre-Questions, Wise Ass, brought to you as always by patreon.com/Frankenstein Minute, where you can sign up to support the podcast, to keep it going, and in addition to that, you occasionally get some shit like this, where you I send you the minutes and you can comment on them, and then we'll read it on here.
Worth every penny.
And of course, you always get every episode a day early, and we'll probably do a commentary of the Wolfman at some point.
At some point.
I don't know why I'm throwing that out there all of a sudden. Why am I promising people shit? Here we go. First comment.
Okay.
Is from Sean. Sean writes, Cheney is no Karloff as the monster for sure. As a kid, I did find him, parentheses Cheney, kind of frightening and imposing as a more hulkish take on the character. Tom is nodding.
Yeah.
But his version of the monster seems to suffer the worst from the prosthetic eyelids.
Yes.
More than half the time, it looks like his eyes are completely closed, or at least it did back in the VHS days.
No, it still does.
Yeah, it still does.
It still does.
Yeah, it's not improved on 4K.
Maybe...
or 1K or wherever we're at.
Yeah, 16K, 30K, I don't know what it is. And maybe Pierce got a little bit of revenge on Cheney and glued his eyes shut. I don't know, but they are...
You gotta wear these, man. Karloff wore them. You gotta wear them.
They look different than, the Karloff ones look more like eyelids. This looks like a piece of tape over his eye.
Well, like a I don't know. A bit of collodion.
Yeah, it's just a rubber. It's just a piece of rubber.
Yeah.
They're not as shaped or as distinctive.
There you go.
With Karloff, the idea was that it kind of gave him a dim child, newborn sort of innocence or...
I don't know. I'm looking at a particularly creepy one behind you. It gives him a creepiness that Chaney doesn't get.
Yeah.
It's similar, obviously, but it's just not as effective. So
well,
it's a little bit effective.
And part of it is, again, and we're going to be knocking him for quite a while, and I hate to, because like Mike, I am a Lon Chaney Jr. fan.
And a fan of his hulkish take on the character.
Yeah, no, I think that's a good element. He does have that physicality that, again, he brings to like Dracula in Son of Dracula.
Right.
And he doesn't, unfortunately, really bring it to the Mummy very much.
Yeah, true.
I think Tyler is more menacing in the Mummy's hand.
Yes. I think it doesn't help that he's so fucked up most of the time.
One arm
is
his right arm is like stuck to him, and
so that was a topic on the Classic Horror Film Board. Was Lon Chaney left-handed? Because that's the Mummy.
No, I don't think so. But,
no. I think that's kind of a sad thing about the Mummy. I remember when we were kids, there's some comedian that would do a bit about the Mummy and how scary he isn't because he moves so slow.
Yeah.
And a lot of that is from Chaney's era as the Mummy.
Yes.
I almost said Chaney's performance, but I don't know that isn't what was expected too. Well, plus he's all fucked up.
Yeah,
and he's been burnt and shit.
Well, I mean, they refer to his right arm and his left leg have been.
Yeah, he's got a limp.
And his one eye, because one eye is closed.
That's right. Yeah.
Yeah, this poor guy.
Yeah. We didn't mention Lugosi's limp in this one. He's got a...
Well, he had the limp in Son, and
he's got a bit of a limp here.
I think again, like the accent, like the hump, it sort of comes and goes.
Comes and goes. Yeah, exactly. All right, next comment. Mike Herman. I buy that a blow from Chaney Jr. could burst your heart.
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. So, especially because he's whopping him in the chest,
where the heart is.
Where the heart actually is located.
Like that football player.
What football player?
I don't know. You probably don't watch football. But
there
was a football game, and a guy hits another guy in the chest. A clean hit, normal football hit. And the guy who gets hit in the chest falls down, stands up. I say it in present tense because it's something I've seen on video.
Okay.
But he stood up and then fell back dead.
Dropped dead?
Like his heart just completely stopped.
Really?
And the trainers that came out on the field apparently saved his life because he was dead. And they brought him back, and he's playing next year. So
okay.
He apparently was very like a freak thing where if you hit the heart just right at just the right moment while it's beating, you can disrupt it, which is the scariest fucking thing I've ever heard.
Well, I can vouch.
Yeah?
Well, I mean, not hit, but you can restart a heart.
You can restart one.
Yeah.
Boy. There you go. There's your question. If you're thinking we're done, Jesus, we're not even done with the Patreon comments.
Oh, for fuck's sake.
Ruben Herfindahl replies, so I've never secured a wobbly railing without using a hammer drill and concrete bits, which probably didn't exist back then. What tools would you recommend to a monster that is worried about an old man falling downstairs to help secure this railing that were available in the first half of the 20th century?
I do believe there were concrete
I'm sure there
drill
were concrete
bits in 42.
Yeah. Yep.
Other than that, not make it out of balsa wood would be one recommendation.
So it explodes into tiny pieces. Or maybe make it so it explodes into tiny pieces. That can be a value too. It's like your car. Your car is supposed to collapse when you get hit now,
Yeah, and referring to that and watching it, and we made some jokes about it, but it does appear like something is supposed to happen to it. Like it was breakaway.
Like it was intended to fall off completely?
Well, like he was intended to fall through it, break it, and it just didn't happen, and for whatever reason there wasn't a second take.
Well, you've kind of anticipated, I think. I'll just read Chuck's comment.
Sure.
Was Ed Wood the scenery supervisor? Why didn't they reshoot this?
Yeah,
Can we call this the beginning of the end of the high production quality of these movies? No! First of all, because we haven't even gotten to the fucking best looking shot in the whole series is the next film. I don't know why I say that. One of the best looking films is yet to come. And secondly, you just came up with a response to that, which is it looks almost like it was supposed to break apart.
It's supposed to break away, yeah. That's my guess, but they didn't do a second take. They also didn't do a second take when he knocks over the grave marker.
Knocked over the grave marker, yeah. All right, now we're going to past questions.
Okay.
I don't know what this is in reference to. Mike Herman says, I remember I felt really old when I realized I had outgrown Friday the 13th. That's an interesting.
I think we were talking about them.
I was probably talking about Part 6 again.
Well, and I had referenced that being stuck at home for a long.
Oh right.
Period
Did you watch
of time.
them all?
Yeah, I didn't watch them all. I watched the first one and number 6.
Oh, okay. And
that was it.
Fun.
This number 6 was.
Yeah,
first one is very crude.
Yeah, that's not.
And is not what I remembered it. None of these are.
Yeah.
It's funny because I watched I Spit on Your Grave, which when I watched it in the early 80s, and it had this reputation as being just, ultra violent and just shocking, and you could play it on TV uncut.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah.
No kidding.
Yeah. I mean, other than the nudity. But overall...
I haven't seen that film ever, I don't think.
Yeah, all of them that I watched, again, Hills Have Eyes, I thought was...
Oh, yeah, you said.
Really gripping and scary when I saw it. And watching it again, I'm like, that's the Hills Have Eyes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Have you seen the original Texas Chainsaw Massacre?
I watched that as well, and that holds up really well.
Okay.
As does the sequel. I love the sequel. I love that.
I think we've talked about
take
that one.
on it. Yeah. It's almost like
the fact that it's Tobe Hooper coming back to do that to his own
to his own
property
child.
essentially.
Yeah. It's like Evil Dead 2.
Yeah, totally.
Although Evil Dead does not hold up well, I don't think at all.
I don't know if I go that far. It doesn't. It's the least of them.
At the time when it came out, it was early 80s. Yeah, it was very impactful. But looking at it, and I'm much older, obviously, and I've made movies and television and whatnot, so I know what goes into it, and it just looks very crude.
Yeah,
you can see all the seams and
yeah,
and that's but it's
the way I look at it is like it's like watching George Lucas's college version of THX. It maybe doesn't hold up on its own, but it's like a neat look back at the guys who made Evil Dead 2.
Well, yeah.
Although you have that too. They have the film that they made to get funding for Evil Dead,
like Within the
on
Woods
one of the
or
discs,
something.
Within the Woods, but I don't know if they ever put out the whole thing. I think they only put out a few minutes.
Excerpts. It's what I call the dancing bear theory.
Okay.
Is, you're at the circus and they have the dancing bear. You're not judging the bear on how well it dances. It's the fact that it danced at all.
Okay, good. All right, good.
And it's like Clerks. I didn't care for it, but hey, he got it made. He got it released, a wide release. Good for you. That's awesome.
The other day, friend of the podcast, Dino Stamatopoulos, posted on Facebook, and I say the other day, it was probably 6 months ago, that he's like, he watched Clerks, and he's like, is this terrible? And I'm like, yeah, I guess it is. I guess it is, yeah.
Yeah, I didn't care for it.
I think at the time, it was a particular time in cinema history. I watched the trailer to it a couple of times because I was going to see Pulp Fiction repeatedly, and I remember feeling like the trailer was enough. Like if you actually watch the movie, if you really want to watch Clerks, maybe consider just watching the trailer.
Yes.
Because that's what you get, and that was like almost subversive. Like, look what's happening here. This movie looks like your friend made it, and we're gonna show it at this theater.
Yeah,
I mean, that was exciting in and of itself.
It was around.
And it's not badly written, and the story's not the worst thing ever. It's just not good.
Yeah. Anyway,
that's it. We're done.
Oh, we're done.
At some point, I have to hold back for next week. We've
got
one more week of this fucking business.
Disaster. I thought Clerks was bad.